What's up, guys? Giancarlo Bodoni here for another video. I'm here today with my friend and student Ty, and he's going to help me out today. Today's topic is going to be about, it's going to be from close guard, okay, one of my favorite positions. And it's going to be about a very basic submission from the close guard, the cross choke, okay? It's one of the first submissions that we learn in Jiu-Jitsu, but I want to give you guys a few details more on how I like to set it up so you can have higher results in the training room to finish this choke. A lot of times when we learn this technique, we have a hard time finishing it because it's so easy to see when the technique is coming that your opponent just postures up, pushes on your chest, and you feel like it never works. So I want to give you guys a couple details that I like to use to finish this cross choke. So let's get into it, okay? So we're going to start off in the close guard, guys. Let me go this way right now first. Okay. And let's imagine that my opponent here is going to take on just traditional grips in close guard, where he's going to be sitting back heavy on his heels, and he's going to get a hold of my two collars here, getting ready to stand up, okay? So in this situation, guys, I want to try to first take away this posting arm, okay? If I start going for the cross choke from here, there's no way that I'm going to be able to get my hand in deep enough to finish the cross choke, okay? And from bottom especially, the cross choke, the first hand that goes in is going to be the most important one to finish, okay? So I can only get so far when my opponent is well postured over here, okay? So I need to do something to break this balance. If I simply just try to pull him down over here, I'm not gonna be able to bring him forward. So what I like to do in this situation is I'm gonna go cross grip as high as I can get it, okay? It's not gonna be deep enough to choke, but we can get a good effective cross grip over here, okay? Once I get this cross collar hand in, 4 fingers inside the lapel, I'm gonna come underneath and I'm gonna hold that same lapel 2-on-1. So I have 2 hands on now on the same lapel, okay? Cross grip and regular straight grip, okay? He's gonna keep this arm well extended and posted nice and stiff here. So even with 2 hands, if I try to pull him down, strong resistance, it's hard for me to pull him down, okay? The posting arm is too strong. So what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to use a combination of a knee pull, where I bring my knees to my chest to break his balance, but I'm also going to open up his post and open up his elbow. So as I flare my own left elbow, the bottom arm, even if he keeps a stiff arm over here, as I flare this elbow up, I'm going to pull my knees to my chest, and watch how I turn my head here. And that opens up the elbow. That's gonna give me enough time to be able to punch this hand in nice and deep, okay? And that little adjustment over here is gonna make all the difference when it's time to put the choke on, okay? This first hand, like I said. Now, once I get over here, if I stay over here and I let him keep hands on me, okay, it's still gonna be easy for him to be able to push on my chest over here and then start posturing up, okay? So even though this hand is deep, and we got that initial grip set, it's going to be hard for me to finish unless I start putting his hands on the floor. And that's going to be the ultimate kind of control of his posture here. Once I can get his hands on the mat, he's in a lot of danger, okay, from the close guard. So this left hand that's in here at this point is going to just start punching through, and I'm going to start looking to control his head, okay? And as soon as I get a hold of his head and I punch this arm all the way through, I'm going to start to shift my hips. I can't stay flat on my back here. Okay, so I start shifting my hips away so that I can isolate this arm over here and make it difficult for him to bring it back. Meanwhile, my hand has made it all the way to the back of the lapel. So you should be able to see that your hand lines up more or less with the tag of his gi over here. So I make that grip, okay? My elbow stays heavy and I'm holding right over here his head, making sure that he can't posture up, okay? Now, if we just turn a little bit. From this position, this kind of side close guard position where I'm on my right hip, you're gonna see that when it's time for me to make my second grip, a lot of times we learn it with the thumb in the collar, which is effective if you can get the hand all the way through. But a lot of times I feel difficulty to finish with just the thumb in the collar grip, okay? So what I'm gonna use is what I've learned to be called the fake collar, okay? Which is basically this baggy material on top of the shoulder, which kind of lines up to be almost like a lapel grip. So I grip it up
right over here. Okay, so it's right next to the lapel, but instead of going thumb in the lapel, I'm gonna grab this flap of gi over here, and I'm gonna make this grip nice and tight right above my opponent's trap muscle. Okay, now from here, I'm gonna start to shift my hips in the opposite direction to create the space for my arm to start coming over. So making sure I keep his posture broken, I'm constantly working to stay nice and tight over here. I'm gonna move my hips again, punch my right hand across as my elbow comes through, and I get that cross choke set. Now from here, I'm not gonna finish from my back, because before I put the finishing pressure on the choke, if I try to stay right here, he brings both hands over, crosses his arms, and then he just presses and then ends up extending my arms over here. Okay, so it's gonna have to use too much energy to maintain this choke from flat on my back. So I continue to move my hip and move my hip until my left tricep touches the floor. Once my left tricep touches the floor, bring my head right next to his. Keep your guard closed, and then from here we put that pressure on for the choke, turning the wrists for the finish. Okay, so let's do this again. We're looking at a couple more details too about the grip. So he's in here. Without wasting any time, I start going in and I start grabbing the cross collar grip as high as I can get it. It's not gonna be deep enough to finish, but we're gonna make this grip anyways and start looking to set it up. He keeps his arm nice and stiff and heavy in my chest. I start bringing this second hand in, and I work the second hand 2-on-1 on the lapel as high as I can get it as well. If you can get your hands relatively close to each other, that's gonna be good. Now from here, as I flare my left elbow, the second hand, I'm gonna use that to open his elbow up, pull my knees to my chest, and I'm gonna shift my head to the other side. So from here, I pull and I bring him forward. The key detail is gonna be the knees, okay? That's really what's breaking his posture. So I deflect over here, my hands initiate the movement, and then my knees follow through and break his posture down. When I get over here, one trick that's important to know, if I try to pull down on the collar with giving the impression that I'm making it tighter, it's actually harder to get your hand in deeper. Okay, so what you actually want to do is to get this hand in all the way deep, you want to kind of push the lapel open. Okay, so if I tighten, it's actually hard for me to get the hand behind the neck. So I open and bring that hand all the way in. Another important detail, when I make this grip, don't grab too much cloth. Okay, don't grab all this material over here. It's gonna be too much in your hand, and it makes your forearm get tired easier. In order to have a stronger grip, try to grab just the lapel portion. So I get my fingers on the back of the neck, right around just the lapel, and you can see that my fingers are curling in right at the very end of the stitching over there. Okay, so as I open the collar and I get it deep, I look for just the lapel right at the back of the neck where the gi size would be. Okay, from there, I had this grip in, I open and I get it through. Okay, now I continue to bring this hand all the way in, right? Because if not, he's just gonna push back on my chest. So I continue to bring the hand all the way through, and then from there, I shift my hips as I hug the head. Okay, now it's time for the second hand to go in. So remember, the second hand doesn't have to be as deep as the first one. Okay, so as I get in here and I start moving my hips to the side and getting myself in a good position to control his posture, I'm gonna start looking for this fake lapel grip, okay, which is just the baggy part on top of the shoulder. So I get a nice grip over here. We take our time, and then when it's time to move, I punch my right hand across, and then I bring my elbow down. And don't wait to be flat on your back. As soon as your elbow comes down, we start shifting our hips so that from here, just here a little bit, so that from here, when I shift, my tricep touches the floor. Now I bring my head right next to his, we begin to rotate our wrists, and we put pressure on for the choke. Okay, so let's look at that one more time, full speed here. Okay, he goes in, he gets a hold of my collar, so I go cross grip inside. He keeps a nice strong body over here. So I move and I break his posture down, start opening that lapel, punching the hand through, shifting my hips and getting sideways, looking for that fake lapel right over here. Okay? From here, we start to shift our hips, punch the arm across, elbow down, tricep on the floor, and we start to curl our wrists, the blade of our wrist into the carotid artery, and we get pressure for the choke.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching the video. If you like my video, please help me grow my channel. Just click subscribe over here. And if you want to see more videos, click any of the videos over here. And guys, if you want to see more in-depth instruction from me, check out my instructional courses at bjjfanatics.com. Os.